If you had to pick right now, before any rugby had been played in the Six Nations, a 23-man matchday squad to represent the British and Irish Lions in Australia, who would you go for? Who would you pick if you were Andy Farrell, who's not part of the Ireland setup for this year's competition, of course? He'll be sat in the stands, sat on his sofa. I'm sure he'll have a little notebook out and he'll be scribbling names down, crossing others out. And I thought it'd be interesting to track the form, the runners and riders for British and Irish Lions spots through this year's competition. And I would start by just today, before any rugby's been played, picking a 23-man squad, matchday squad, to play Australia. And then over the next couple of months, we can track the rise and the fall in the form of players and see how or if this list of 23 names changes. I would love to know what you think in the comments. I think, you see, this is already, the Six Nations is already amazing. It doesn't need anything to make it any better because it is the oldest and most historic annual rugby competition in the world. Or forget rugby, one of the oldest and most historic annual sporting competitions in the world. That's special enough, but there is an extra layer of spice when there's a British and Irish Lions tour ahead, because for these players playing for their national teams, it's the last chance in international colours to convince Andy Farrell they deserve a seat on the plane and a matchday jersey for a test match, which for England, Scotland, Wales and England players is the ultimate. So here we go then. This is my thought. If I had to select today, who would I go for? I'm Tim, this is Egg Chasers. If you haven't already, I would love it if I would earn your subscription on the channel. I'm just working out my logistics at the minute. I am desperate to take the channel to Australia, to soak up the atmosphere with the fans. Never been to Australia, and I want to be there, and I will if I can. And your help, just hitting subscribe and giving the video a thumbs up, can make that more likely. So please do that and get stuck in. Like I say, who would you select? Do you disagree with any of these selections? Number one, loosehead prop, Andrew Porter. I think before any rugby's been played in this year's Six Nations, it's a no-brainer. Pierre Schoeman, Ellis Genge are the most likely competitors for that jersey as things stand right now. But all of that can change. At number two, he's been out injured a little while, and haven't Ireland missed him? He is absolutely elite. Dan Sheehan would be my hooker if I were picking right now, but Dewi Lake, who's out injured for Wales, hopefully he's back soon. Same for Jamie George for England. So that presents an opportunity for the likes of Ewan Ashman and Luke Cowan-Dickie and Theo Dan and Ronan Kelleher, Gus McCarthy even. Who knows who could spring out of the woodwork and get themselves on the plane to Australia. We will see. Tight head prop, I've gone for Xander Fagerson. Yes, Tadhg Furlong's been injured, but quite apart from that, Xander Fagerson has just been exceptional. And what an engine he has got. It's going to be, I imagine, with the fast tracks you get in Australia, with the conditions, you need people that are just fit. And when you go through this Lions team that I've picked, I think you get a sense that Andy Farrell might try and play a high-tempo kind of game. And if he does, Xander Fagerson is your man. He's been exceptional. He's in at tight head prop. Maro Itoje, potential captain for the British and Irish Lions. I think he'll be part of the leadership group, and I think he'll be in a starting 23-man squad at second row alongside Tadhg Beirne. That combination is just amazing. The number of interventions that both in attack and defence that Tadhg Beirne and Maro Itoje have is massive. There is a chance, of course, Tadhg Beirne ends up in the back row as he is for Ireland. And I think blindside flanker is one of those areas which is relatively weak compared to other areas in terms of selection. But I would pick Tadhg Beirne at second row. Let me know what you would do. Obviously, there's guys like Joe McCarthy, Ollie Chesham, George Martin, David Jenkins, Adam Beard if he gets back and fit and plays well, Cummings and Gilchrist of Scotland. There's a lot of options. I go for Tadhg Beirne because in the back row, in that number 6 jersey, curveball, Jack Willis, someone who is not going to be involved in the Six Nations 2025. More's the pity. Sort yourself out, England. Pick this man. Come on. But I think his form for Toulouse is so irresistible. I think Andy Farrell is going to take him, and I think he's going to start a test match. Shifted across to the number 6 jersey. I know France do things a little bit different. Some teams do more like left and right rather than blind side, open side. So Jack Willis can play 6, 7, and for Toulouse he plays 8 as well. And I think that versatility is another reason why you would take him. I would take him. I would pick him. And maybe the embarrassment of having an England player that's not eligible for England, but is the best in his position in the British Isles and Ireland. I think that well, I probably won't get England to change the rules, but you can hope. So Jack Willis at number 6. Tell me if you disagree. Number 7, Josh van der Fleer. The man is a machine. He's playing at the levels in November that he was when he won World Player of the Year. He is just outstanding. So no hesitation. Right now, if I was selecting, that's your man in the 7 jersey. And the captain of the British and Irish Lions, at this moment, I say Maro Itoje is a contender, but Caelan Doris is the guy that I would hand that responsibility to. An automatic selection, a world-class talent, playing at the peak of his game, and he's only 26. He's got so much rugby ahead. He could be a Lions captain in 4 years' time, even 8 years' time. We'll see. What a player! And that is my pack, and I'm very happy with that pack. I think there's versatility. I think you can tighten things up, play a tight game, but if you want to let rip, that pack can do the job. What's behind it though? Jameson Gibson Park, the obvious selection at scrum half, heads and shoulders above any other option right now. Although the Six Nations hasn't happened yet, and Alex Mitchell, Ben White, George Horn, I was going to say Craig Casey, but he's not going to be back. There are other players that can get themselves in the shop window, and a dip in form and it's all over. Fly half, it's a 2-horse race at this point for me, and it's Smith or Russell to start. I think whoever comes through the Ireland selection battle between Prendergast and Crowley, probably not Frawley at this point, is it? Whoever comes through that battle and is the main man at number 10 there will be the 3rd spot. Probably Jack Crowley would be my guess. I don't think there's going to be a Welshman involved in this. I should have probably mentioned Thomas Williams when I was talking about the scrum halves. I really should have mentioned Thomas Williams. Anyway, centres. Sione Tuipulotu. Bundy Aki will have something to say about that, and that is a battle. That is a battle. That is going to be raging. They'll both, if fit, be on the tour, I'm sure, and then it's a shootout for who gets the 12 jersey. There is no bad option between Sione Tuipulotu and Bundy Aki. I just think Tuipulotu's form, again, has just been off the charts good. And another international captain. He'll be part of the leadership group, and he could be a captain for the Lions. Gary Ringrose. Defensively, incredible. He's just got it all. He's got it all. And yeah, Hugh Jones has been fantastic for Scotland. Ollie Lawrence, I think, could get himself on the tour because he can play 12 and 13, and he's just a brilliant athlete. And I'd love to see Ollie Lawrence used properly. Hopefully England do that during the Six Nations. And if not, then I hope the British and Irish Lions do. But no question, Gary Ringrose is just class. And onto the wings, where James Lowe, I think this is one area where going into the championship, I've picked 2 names that could completely flip. James Lowe, I think he's so good that I would pick him if I were picking right now. But there's some seriously talented wingers. Look at Duhan van der Merwe, Carl Steyn, Darcy Graham for Scotland. You could put Liam Williams there. Josh Adams is back, and could he play himself into form? England have got guys like Tommy Freeman, but I would go James Lowe and Emmanuel Faye-Waboso, who was absolutely electric. He's just got it. He's just got that Stardust X factor. And as a combination, I just think that pair of wingers would just be fire at this stage. Emmanuel Faye-Waboso going to miss the Six Nations with injury, of course. Will the credit that he's got in the bank be enough for Andy Farrell to pick him? Because he's not going to be playing in big matches for Exeter Chiefs. So it's going to have to be on the basis of what Andy Farrell's already seen from Faye-Waboso in an England jersey. Even in a relatively underperforming England team, this guy has looked amazing in 2024, and I think he'll make the tour, and then I think he'll get in a test match starting team. Or at least he would if I were picking it right now. And again, 15, Keenan, Kinghorn. Those are your 2. Where'd you go? What a choice. I mean, Hugo Keenan, if you've watched the channel for any length of time, you know just how much I love that guy. But he's been injured, and Blair Kinghorn's form has been sensational. So I would just, right now, go for Kinghorn, but that could very much change through the Six Nations if Keenan plays up to where he could be. And who knows, Kinghorn could be shifted onto the wing as well. That's one definite possibility. Onto the bench, Dewi Lake, injured, but I think he's the second best hooker. Pierre Schoeman, Ellis Genge is nipping at his heels, but right now, Pierre Schoeman. Tyke Furlong, he needs to get a run of games together, but it's a weak area, his tight head prop, and I don't see anyone else taking that Matchday Squad jersey. Will Stewart, if he has a big championship, you never know. Joe McCarthy at second row. This is hotly contested with Ollie Chesham, George Martin, David Jenkins, James Ryan even, potentially putting him under pressure. Ben Earl in the back row, so many brilliant back rowers. Could be Jack Morgan, the Welsh captain. It could be Rory Darge or Jack Dempsey. Depends the way Andy Farrell wants to play. Right now, I go Ben Earl. Let's see how Ben Earl gets on in the Six Nations. Same goes, second best scrum half, Alex Mitchell I've got at the minute, but it could be Thomas Williams, could be Ben White or George Horn, Jamie Dopey even. We'll see. Marcus Smith, I've got him on the bench. And, I mean, he could get himself into a starting berth if England do well in the Six Nations. And to finish the 23, could have been Robbie Henshaw, could have been an outside back. I've gone for Hugh Jones because you've got that combination with Sione Tuipulotu. He can play 12, he can play 13, he has played fullback, and you could slot him in on the wing as well. So Hugh Jones is your man. That is my Matchday 23. If I were picking right now, as I say, over the coming weeks, and as we reflect on each week of play in the Six Nations, I will revise this team and see if anyone's played themselves in or played themselves out in a kind of tracking the form. Obviously, guys like Jack Willis isn't going to be able to play himself into or out of any form because he'll be playing for Toulouse while we're all watching the international rugby play. Interesting times. Let me know what you think. Comments down below. I'll be in there with you, and I will see you on the next video.